10 Unsolved Mysteries about Ancient Greece. Ancient Greece is often seen as the birthplace of Western civilization. It's also credited with founding some of the earliest institutions devoted to acquiring knowledge, and if that wasn't enough, Athens is commonly regarded as the birthplace of democracy. But the length of time between this era and the modern world means that not everything about this period of antiquity. 10 The secrets of the Eleusinian Mysteries. One of the most fascinating riddles of Old Greece concerns a mystery association whose name likewise assisted with characterizing the idea of secret as we comprehend it today. The Eleusinian Mysteries were a strict clique which spun around a progression of furtive customs and services, huge numbers of which actually stay obscure today. Note that the expression Eleusinian Mysteries is additionally used to allude to the customs themselves. One of the explanations behind our present absence of information is that the mysteries were intended to be left well enough alone, and supporters were legal to disclose the subtleties of the religion's internal activities. It has even been asserted that any individual who uncovered reality gambled being murdered. The set number of sources talking about the idea of the ceremonies included makes it significantly more impossible that the entire story behind this faction will actually be known completely. 9 The Life of Thespis. Thespis is the name credited to the 6th century BC Athenian who was accepted to have been the principal individual to play out a function as though he were someone else and is subsequently viewed by some just like the world's first entertainer. The effect of this figure in social history is with the end goal that the expression artist was gotten from his name as an approach to allude to entertainers. However, moderately little is known for sure about him, his life, and his vocation. Was Thespis his genuine name? Is it safe to say that he was truly from Athens? Also, above all, did he truly exist in the primary place? It has been noticed that all the sources which allude to him, including a record by the writer Horace, were composed at a lot later point in time than he was said to have performed, and there are no contemporary records of the individual being referred to. It has accordingly been proposed that Thespis himself could be viewed as a legend and to a greater degree an image of the start of acting in the Greek dramatic convention, as opposed to a particular individual who could be authoritatively recognized. 8 The art and architecture of the Parthenon. The Parthenon in Athens is one of the most notable pictures of antiquated Greece. Its perseverance in the course of recent years is even more noteworthy, given that it was implicit a surprisingly brief time frame, and apparently without a point-by-point development plan. Secret likewise encompasses different parts of its design and craftsmanship, with much staying dubious about both the creation and motivation behind specific subtleties of the building. There has been progressing banter over the substance of the frieze which enhances the inside of the Parthenon and what the figures inside the frieze are expected to pass on. One of the conceivable outcomes raised has been that they may have been planned as portrayals of the individuals who assisted with building it. The sanctuary likewise contains 2 inside chambers, the littler of which has never had its motivation recognized. 7 The creators of the 2 constitutions of the Athenians. The Constitution of the Athenians is a title ascribed to 2 unique records of Old Greece, one initially connected with the thinker Xenophon, the other with Aristotle. Notwithstanding, in the 2 cases, the creation has been contested and keeps on being bantered right up till today. While the more seasoned of the 2 writings was initially credited to Xenophon, it is currently viewed as not really his own work, somewhat because of the imaginable date of its piece having originated before the full-grown long periods of his composing career. Its writer is presently frequently depicted as pseudo-Xenophon, however the personality of the individual who really composed the work has never been decisively established. The later report was viewed by most as having been composed by Aristotle, yet there has been some contradiction on this, because of the way that it is altogether different in style to his different works. In any case, This has been countered by the proposal that such contrasts could be ascribed to the way that the constitution was a type of composing totally different from the remainder of his achievements. 6. The work of Pythagoras. The mathematician Pythagoras is acclaimed today for his relationship with the hypothesis that the square of the longest side of a correct triangle is equivalent to the entirety of the squares of the staying two shorter sides. One of the most celebrated of every numerical hypothesis, it has gotten known as the Pythagorean theorem, yet the life and work of the man so firmly connected with it is in reality considerably more indistinct. This is somewhat because of the way that the philosophical school he worked inside worked under clandestine conditions, and it is accordingly indistinct now and again which work can be ascribed to him and which may have been finished by another individual from the association. It has likewise been demonstrated that the most renowned hypothesis related with him was at that point known in antiquated Babylon and that it can't be viewed as his unique disclosure. 5. The destruction of the statue of Zeus. The statue of Zeus was one of the unbelievable 7 wonders of the world, a rundown arranged by prominent researchers during artifact of the most noteworthy structures made by people in old occasions. Of the 7 marvels, just the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt endures today, the 6 others having been lost throughout time. The statue of Zeus was made by Phidias, one of the most famous stone carvers of Old Greece, and its inevitable annihilation stays one of the most baffling misfortunes of the wonders. The sculpture was housed inside the temple of Zeus at Olympia, which was in the end devastated by fire, and it is regularly accepted that the sculpture was lost in this burst. 4. Aristotle's lost theory of comedy. Aristotle's Poetics is a significant book throughout the entire existence of abstract analysis, the soonest realized work to dissect the specialty of keeping in touch with itself. Nonetheless, one aspect of this key work of antiquated Greek writing appears liable to stay a secret, the legend of the presence of a subsequent book, which was said to have zeroed in on Aristotle's hypothesis of parity, going with the hypothesis of misfortune examined in the primary book of the Poetics. There has been banter regarding whether this is a certified lost work, as, in spite of being referenced in a rundown of Aristotle's works in an early account, there is minimal other proof for its reality. By and by, the chance of such a lost content has been a suffering wellspring of theory and even assumes a part in Umberto Eco's tale The Name of the Rose, wherein the alleged rediscovery of this book turns into a significant plot point. 3. The Labyrinth, which inspired the Minotaur myth. One of the most popular Greek legends fixates on the account of the Minotaur, the startling person who is a large portion of a bull and a large portion of a human and was kept detained inside a complex labyrinth by King Minos. This maze has hence been conjectured as a structure that may have truly existed and filled in as the motivation for the legend in question. The castle at the old city of Knossos, situated on the Greek island of Crete, has at times been contended as an area for the maze that may have propelled this fantasy, despite the fact that unearthings at the site have not yet uncovered a structure which coordinates the thought. Be that as it may, ongoing examination has additionally proposed a stone quarry close to the town of Gortyn, 32 kilometers, 20 miles, away from Knossos, as an elective conceivable area. The discussion proceeds, and a complete area stays to be distinguished. 2. Plato's unfinished trilogy. The fantasy of Atlantis started in Crafted by Plato, where it is referenced in his discourse, Timaeus and Critias, to act as an illustration of a human progress in contrast to that of Athens, one which inevitably falls into ruin and sinks underneath the floods of the Atlantic. Yet, the secret remains why these works, which were extended to frame a set of 3 upon consummation, were eventually abandoned. Plato didn't finish the Critias, the subsequent exchange, and no record can be found of him having left upon the expected 3rd work, which was to have been entitled Hermocrates. It stays obscure why Plato didn't finish this proposed set of 3. The after effect of this is the work which produced such a great 1. The authorship of Homer's poems. Homer, the writer credited as the writer of the Iliad and the Odyssey, is accepted to be the most punctual realized Greek writer. In any case, he stays a secretive figure in numerous regards, including whether he was the sole creator of both of the works most firmly connected with him. It has been proposed that Homer might not have been the maker of both the Iliad and the Odyssey, because of complex contrasts between the two works, which some accept demonstrate diverse authors. It has likewise been contended that, regardless of whether Homer started the two works in some structure himself, it is as yet suitable to see the sonnets as aggregate undertakings, because of the way that they would have been at first formed through discourse instead of composing and imparted through various resulting speakers, with likely elaborations during this cycle.